Mayor Frank Jackson and the City of Cleveland are committed to keeping your neighborhood clean and green through the use of the city-issued trash and recycling carts. It's safe, convenient, and mandatory. For more information, contact the Cleveland Division of Waste Collection at 216-664-3717.
Welcome to the Mayor's Highlights of Success. I'm TV20 reporter Leah Haslage. 2014 has been another exciting and productive year for Mayor Frank G. Jackson and his administration. There were many great moments and accomplishments, beginning with the inauguration and swearing in of his third term as mayor of the City of Cleveland.
I state your name.
I, Frank Jackson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the codified ordinance in the Charter of the City of Cleveland,
the codified ordinance and the Charter of the City of Cleveland,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and
and
impartially
impartially
discharge the duties of Mayor of the City of Cleveland,
discharge the duties of Mayor of the City of Cleveland,
the State of
the
Ohio,
State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge.
The measure of our greatness will be what we do for the least of us. Again, not in terms of what people think of welfare and charity, but the real inclusion of everyone into that quality of life and that prosperity that we, through a partnership of the public and private sector, that we create, that everyone will have that opportunity, not just in theory, but in fact. And that Cleveland then, at that time, will be like that city on the hill, that bright light, serve as a beacon. And people will come to Cleveland and they'll say, how do you do that? And we will tell them. Thank you very much.
Cleveland's light did shine bright, garnering national attention with the announcement we would host the 2016 Republican National Convention.
What this demonstrates is that whenever we come together as a community, we're successful. No matter what the issue is or whatever the challenges are, whenever we come together as a community with a purpose of putting Cleveland first, we've always been successful. And so I want to again thank everyone involved and really point out the fact, as Terry said, we're a much different city than we were in 2006. And when we made the investments that we made, when we set the environment that we set, we did it in a way not knowing that this was going to happen, but being ready for whatever opportunity that came forward. And this just happened to be the one for this time. So again, thank you very much.
Cleveland also gained international attention by hosting the 2014 Gay Games.
I want you to know how much we appreciate you choosing Cleveland and how happy we are that you have chosen Cleveland and how much we are looking forward to be part of these games throughout this period and how we want you to enjoy Cleveland so that when you go back home, you will say you had a great experience in Cleveland.
With the help of the Federation of Gay Game Culture Committee, Gay Games 9 Board and staff, and the international forerunners, 6 of the 7 previous host cities organized events as part of this display and this relay. This morning, the final leg of the global journey began outside the famous Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum. We are very pleased to welcome the rainbow flag to our community. Please welcome Gay Games 9 volunteers as they carry the rainbow flag into the arena for the final stage of this journey from Akron to Cleveland.
Another moment when Cleveland shined bright, literally, was when we dazzled the district and made the Guinness Book of World Records with the lighting of the GE chandelier. Suspended 44 feet above the intersection of Euclid and East 14th Street, the one-of-a-kind centerpiece is a part of the $16 million transformation taking place in our historic theater district.
Oh!
Good evening, Cleveland. Are you having a good time? You know, I want to congratulate the Playhouse Square board, Art Falco, and I want to thank them, all the sponsors, all the people who made this possible. You know, this chandelier, the arches, will physically define Cleveland, this part of downtown Cleveland, and it will set and really create a sense of space and destination. And when people come to Cleveland, come to Playhouse Square, they go home, they will talk about this. So congratulations and thank you. Have a good time.
The safety of the citizens of Cleveland has always been a top priority for Mayor Jackson. This year, he directed the city's law department to craft a legislative agenda that includes new laws and reenacts the city's gun regulations that are permitted under state law. He sent a message that there is zero tolerance for crime in Cleveland.
Since 2006, Cleveland police have confiscated over 9,000 firearms. Of these, more than 861 were taken from juveniles. This includes 418 firearms that were confiscated just this year, and of that, 22 of those weapons were seized from people who were 17 years old or younger. Since January 2006, we have destroyed over 6,000 firearms in our gun burned, but still the property room at the City of Cleveland Police Department has over 21,000 firearms. We are getting guns off the street. We're driving down crime overall, but there is still much more work to be done, and we need more tools to help us get that job done. I want to emphasize this is not about gun control. This is about keeping people safe in their homes, on the streets, in the neighborhoods, and in the City of Cleveland. And we will be working with council to work out what the final pieces of legislation will look like.
There's no separation between the public and safety. That our ability to have safe neighborhoods, a safe city, is the relationship between the Division of Police, Fire, EMS, and the citizens of the City of Cleveland and in the neighborhoods. And when we have that kind of relationship, we can do anything in regards to helping to fight against crime.
It is difficult, if not impossible, to measure the success, except for that we know that but for these guns being melted down, someone else would have gotten harmed. And we know that keeping guns out of the hands of particularly young people adds to our ability to provide for a safer Cleveland and safer neighborhoods. So again, I want to thank the Steel Company, our partners, and those who have helped fund us throughout this program.
Safety measures went beyond just crime. Public health was also at the forefront. From decreasing heroin deaths to protecting the public from Ebola, Mayor Jackson and his administration made sure the citizens of the city were aware of the facts and how we as a city are prepared.
In 2007, there were 40 deaths related to heroin in the Cuyahoga County. In 2013, that was 195. So it's grown almost, 500% in just 6 years. So it's a pressing issue. And that is why this billboard and the efforts of other people and of council, Clear Channel, is so important to raise the awareness of people and also to let people know there is help there. Now, it's important to note at this point, to the best of our knowledge, we have not had any cases of Ebola in the City of Cleveland. Just the same, this is a very important public health issue, and it is important that we all stay focused on the facts and sharing information so that we can protect the interests of the public, and the public is aware of what they should do and when they should do it, and have an understanding of the nature of this virus. We've learned quite a bit from this experience. We've learned how to be better prepared and how to create the kind of collaboration and cooperation that you need in order to be able to protect the public. And one of the good things that came out of that is that
we believe, and matter of fact, we know that we are better prepared in terms of having an infrastructure in place that can address many different issues, whether it's Ebola, a natural disaster, or other kind of contagious disease. That would not have happened, however, without the input and the cooperation of a lot of people.
One of the most important issues to Mayor Jackson is education. In 2012, issue 107, better known as the Cleveland Plan, was overwhelmingly passed. In March of this year, he gave an update as to how the plan is transforming schools with both the Transformation Alliance and the start of the program Pre for Clee.
Key point I want to make, this is about quality education. Regardless of what a system is in, public or charter, and the Transformation Alliance, one of its major purposes is to inform the public as to the performance, academic performance of schools, so that they can make a choice as to where they want to put their children.
As part of the implementation of the Cleveland Plan, you know, there is no panaceas, no silver bullet, and it's hard work. And how do we implement and how do we change a system in a way that we're better guaranteed to have quality outcome in terms of educating our children? And what better way to do that than to start at pre-K? And I want to thank all of the people who were involved in developing this and all of the organizations and group who came together to put this on, because it is essential that we start with pre-K, and so that we can move children through the entire spectrum of K to 12, so that they can receive the kind of education that they need in order to have the quality of life and to be able to be competitive in today's environment.
Part of learning to be competitive in today's environment is understanding how to work and earn a paycheck. Mayor Jackson held his 8th annual Youth Summer Intern Program. At the end of season luncheon, he spoke about what he hopes the youth gained from being involved.
Well, that's the purpose of the program, so that we can expose young people to different things and have them create understanding what does it mean to go to work every day, be on time, properly dressed, follow through on task, and then to get paid for it. Because I know that there are times when you may want something and not have the cash to do it, and hopefully this gave you the ability to do something for yourself and feel what it's like to be independent.
At the 3rd annual Degrees by Design Best Practices Symposium, hosted by the Higher Education of Greater Cleveland, Mayor Jackson stated that the focus this year was on college persistence and completion.
Education is important to us in Cleveland. We started the Higher Education Compact several years ago, and it was about 3 things. How do we be better prepared, better prepare our children from kindergarten to 12th grade when they graduate? How do they have access and not have the sole purpose of them not being able to access higher learning just because of financial difficulties? And then once they're in, how do we ensure that they complete and build an infrastructure around that? And higher education is not just 4-year college. It could be some trade, some technical skills or whatever, but completion is the key. So what we want to do is to work to help institutionalize and really make education a community process as opposed to just an institution process.
By the fall of 2014, Cleveland's Pre for Clee initiative was recognized by the White House. U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro came to praise the Pre for Clee program and their efforts to enroll more children in high-quality schools.
The Secretary is here to highlight the significant investments in our children's future by the federal government and Cleveland's public and private partnership, and how it can strengthen families and community and prepare our children for the future. Through Pre for Clee, which is an effort to focus on providing high-quality preschool to 3- and 4-year-old children in Cleveland, the children will grow up in a strong community and have tools they need to be successful.
Mayor Jackson's initiative for education also includes strong support for music and the arts. Why is music education so important to you, Mayor?
Well, because with education, it really gives you an opportunity in life. You can
it gives you ability to make choices. And without it, your world is kind of small and your choices and options are limited.
What do you think of the annual spring benefit that the Rock Hall puts on every year, and especially being right here at Public Auditorium?
Well, it's appropriate for this spot. You know, there were a lot of concerts here, and that's is what they do. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum, it's about rock and roll and those things that used to happen and still happen sometimes here.
Schools aren't the only thing Mayor Jackson is transforming in Cleveland. He hosted a tour aboard the Good Time 3 called the Back to the Future Waterfront Tour Part 2. He showed the many new developments along the waterfront and spoke of what is still to come.
5 years ago, we did this tour, and we talked about where things were, what we were looking to do, what the plans would be at that time. I often say that the only good plan you have is the one you're doing. Everything else is just a good conversation. And so since you heard a lot of conversation before, I know you didn't want to hear much of that. And so on this trip, 5 years later, we're going to show you those things that have been executed based on what we talked about before, and some other things that have been accomplished or in the works that we had not anticipated then. This is all about the connectivity of Cleveland to its major asset, which is water. It's about how do we develop our waterfront in a way that it maintains its public nature so that no one owns it, that it's still accessible to the public, but also creates the economic vitality that we need in order to move Cleveland to the next stage.
The transformations went beyond the shoreline. New developments popped up all over Cleveland this year. From groundbreakings to ribbon cuttings, new businesses have been established, bringing more jobs to the community. With generous donations from the Cleveland Foundation, Key Bank, and many other organizations, the redevelopment of Public Square is well on its way. The announcement of the Opportunity Corridor project is about to bring more communities together.
Public Square is part of a group plan that really will reinvent and redefine downtown Cleveland and really help us create a neighborhood for Cleveland in the future. That would not happen without this public-private partnership and real community involvement and community partnership. So Ms. Mooney, I want to thank you again for you leading the charge in the private sector. Ron Richard, for the work that you've done, and the Gun Foundation from the philanthropic community. And I want to thank all of you who have made us stay focused on what it is that is good for Cleveland. So thank you very much. Thank you.
All we want to do is to ensure that in the creation of the project, in the building of the project, and then what happens after the project is really a community benefit.
In Cleveland, as you know, we're making Cleveland a walkable city, a city where there's cycling and public transportation, not so car-centric. And we want to connect all these nodes of activities together. And we're investing in ways that will connect this part of downtown Cleveland with the lakefront, with the warehouse district, 4th Street, with the sports arenas. So all these things are things that can provide entertainment. And when you go up into the museums, we have the healthcare corridor and public transportation, free transportation downtown with the Loop. So there's a lot of ability for people to get around and get to different venues.
To showcase all the great opportunities and incentives our city offers for businesses, Mayor Jackson announced the launch of the brand new economic development website, rethinkcleveland.org.
This website becomes essential. And it's happening because we have an innovative director of economic development. Because as you go through this stuff and you have a large bureaucracy of 8,500 employees and you're just doing the everyday stuff, you need people in place who can really understand the subject matter, understand that which they're responsible for, and you cannot be innovative until you thoroughly understand it. And Director Nichols thoroughly understands it. She understands what it takes to put Cleveland in the right position, how to position Cleveland with the right image, how you as business people, what you're looking for in terms of when you were making decisions where you were going and what incentives or what help you may have to get there.
A major benefit to the community this year was the re-grand opening of the historic League Park. The day's festivities also included the unveiling of a statue in honor of the late Councilwoman Fannie Lewis.
One of the things that she cared about was Huff and what it meant for Huff to be a place just like the New Day in Huff every year. And one of those historical things in Huff that she always talked about that she wanted to be restored in order to keep that identity of Huff was League Park.
All right, all right. Hallelujah, baby. Come on, Lord. Oh, yeah, all right.
We've put in under my administration over $6 million, but I believe there was another couple of million that had been put in before that. So in total, it's probably over $8 million in total. But as you can see, is the impact is our investment in the Huff neighborhood. And this is just one of those neighborhood investments that we make.
This year, the Office of Sustainability kicked off the Year of Zero Waste, part of Mayor Jackson's Sustainable Cleveland 2019 initiative. We learn what the Year of Zero Waste entails and what we gain both environmentally and economically. From the Berea Fairgrounds to Public Hall, we truly are becoming a green city on a blue lake.
We started Sustainable Cleveland 2019 about 5 years ago. The purpose was to look at how can we transform our economy into a sustainable economy by the year 2019. And not only sustainable in business practices, but how can it be a more environmentally friendly approach to life. This is the Year of Zero Waste, which is what we like to do is have people move into a policy, but also a practice of having zero waste, to do recycling and to do zero waste in a way that they can see it being an economic benefit to them. You know, it costs millions of dollars for the city of Cleveland to pick up trash every day, take it to a dump site. The cost of that, do the dumping, the cost of dumping is millions of dollars. So the less we have to pick up, the less we have to put into the landfill, the more money we save. The same thing happens with businesses, particularly businesses who produce a lot of waste. And if they can find alternative means to deal with that other than doing it in the traditional way, it'd be friendly to the environment, but it also saved them a lot of money. If we want sustainability to be real and to be sustainable, that means it has to be just the way we do business, whether it's in our daily lifestyle as individuals in our home or in businesses or communities. And when that happens, what we'll find is a sustainable approach to life is profitable for businesses, is good for the earth in terms of being green, but is also very good for the individual and families in terms of how they approach life.
There's no greener way to get around town than on foot or by bike. Thousands of Clevelanders did just that this year while helping some great causes. Mayor Jackson was there to offer his encouragement and support.
I want to welcome everyone to Velasano and really thank all the sponsors, the riders, the volunteers, the staff, all the people who made this possible. You know, this is great for Cleveland, but as Senator Portman said, what is really great for are those who are looking to cure cancer. So welcome, have a good time, good ride. Thank you.
Celebrating the cultural diversity of Cleveland and the many achievements its citizens accomplish is something that is essential to Mayor Jackson, as well as welcoming those new to our community, including immigrants and refugees.
I want to welcome everyone to the first in a series of community meetings around immigration and migration
and making Cleveland a place where people will choose to immigrate to or to migrate to. You know, I was talking at my table with some people and we were talking about the fact that there are neighborhoods in the city of Cleveland who are doing quite well. You know, Tremont, Ohio City, Detroit Shoreway, and maybe a couple more. And those neighborhoods are growing. They've become neighborhoods of choice where people want to live, work, play, and do business. And that is why I always believe in order for us to have Cleveland as a city of choice for immigration and for migration of people back to Cleveland or from other parts of the country here to Cleveland, we have to begin to take care of our neighborhoods and create that environment and that quality of life and standard of living that makes them a neighborhood of choice.
Our mayor is very supportive, and he's a visionary. Mayor is always thinking in terms of how to reach out to get more business, and you know that China is a great potential for attracting Chinese business to Greater Cleveland. And he is a champion for the Confucius Institute. Our objective is to reach out to teach the culture and Chinese languages to the community so that we prepare our children for the future to do business with China.
Part of what we want to do is have culture exchange, economic exchange, and the more people communicate with each other, better understand each other, then the more those things happen. And there's no reason why both the Chinese and the American culture and economy can't grow and prosper together.
One of our greatest assets is our diversity. The different cultures and different peoples who make up the city of Cleveland and contribute to the city of Cleveland. And the Italian community and the Italian people are essential in that. When you look at the history of Cleveland in terms of politics, in terms of our economy, the culture, the foods, the neighborhoods, everything, the Italian community is essential to identifying who we are as a city. We are who we are because of the people who make up the city of Cleveland. You have helped us in shaping our image, our personality, our character, and that personality, that character, that image was really reflected in what we were able to do this year during the Gay Games and the way in which people celebrated this community and celebrated it in a way that it is the talk of not only Cleveland and the country, but the world. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate what you have done for Cleveland and all those things that you continue to do. And I want to congratulate all the honorees tonight as they have provided those kinds of services and that kind of commitment to the community that really makes Cleveland the great place that it is. I want to thank the Latino community in general, but really on this day, the Mexican community for all of what you do for Cleveland. As Ms. Torres said, it is important for us to celebrate dates and events so that we can continue to have that connection with culture and nations in a way that allows us to be what we are, a very diverse and great city. I have here a proclamation, and it's a proclamation that really recognizes Cinco de Mayo as a day in the city of Cleveland. And again, congratulations and thank you.
As you can see, it was another very successful year for Mayor Frank Jackson and his entire administration. We look forward to all the great new developments in the coming year. Don't forget to tune in to TV 20 for new episodes of Frank Talk, the only place you can get firsthand information from our great mayor of the city of Cleveland. I'm Leah Haslage. Thanks for watching.